Minka's story tells the babies about the first Hanukkah. Long ago, in the land of Israel, the Israelites lived peacefully with the Greeks until one day a Greek king, Antiochus V. Eupator, came and wanted everyone to wear what he wore and read what he read, as well as worship his gods. Although some people thought his new way of life was fine, Judah was not one of them. One day he was privately trained to read the stories of his forefathers read in a dark cave. King Antiochus's royal advisor found out and confiscated them. Outraged, Judah stepped forward to challenge the king. Judah bravely led these realities again against the more powerful armies of King Antiochus. The story is suddenly cut short when Didi asks Minka for her help making latkes in the kitchen. Boris, who is asleep on the couch, awakens when he hears about the latkes, explains how much he loves Hanukkah. Angelica is very glad the story's over and finds for the remote control so that she can watch A Very Cynthia Christmas, unaware that Spike is sitting on it. In the kitchen, Didi is cooking latkes, which are called potato pancakes, and Chaz questions why people made latkes out of potatoes. Didi explains to him that on Hanukkah, the Jewish people fry them, as well as donuts, to remind them of the oil used in the miracle of the first Hanukkah. Boris then explains that the true miracle is how long he's survived, since the latkes have obstructed his family's arteries for over 2,000 years. As Boris eats a latke, Chaz sees on the front page of the newspaper how the meaning of Hanukkah play at the synagogue. Boris is outraged and he finds out his lifelong rival Shmuel has his picture on the front page instead of his own. When Didi tries to tell Chaz that Boris and Shmuel were friends as children, Boris retorts that Shmuel is not his friend, and he managed to outdo him at all they did together, including starting his own successful business while Boris got married and had children. Minka tells Didi that the real miracle of Hanukkah would be Boris and Shlomo finishing the play without killing each other. In the living room, Phil and Will complain about the taste of chocolate coins and toy dreidels, and Tommy explains to him that's not even the worst part. He shows the twins and Chucky that Didi and Minka are making pancakes for dinner. He then shows them the menorah at the top of the television. Tommy explains to the group that even though he's unsure when it is, he does know that every night he has to wear a funny hat while Boris says things he doesn't understand. Then Didi lights another candle. Afterward, he gets a present, such as a clown pillow. He shows Chucky, which scares him. Phil will believe that the grown-ups are celebrating all of Tommy's birthdays at once, meaning he's now an adult who has to get a job. Tommy tells the twins he doesn't look or feel any older, but the twins think that maybe it's because he's not blowing out the candles yet. Tommy tries to do so when Angelica walks in, having found the remote control. She asks what they are doing, and the babies explain to her that they're trying to blow out Tommy's birthday candles. Angelica tells them that the candles are not for Tommy's birthday, they are for Hanukkah. Chucky tells Angelica what Hanukkah is. Angelica explains him and the other babies that Hanukkah takes place between Thanksgiving and Christmas, when all the best holiday specials are on television, one of which, A Very Cynthia Christmas, she is planning to watch. In the basement, Stu is working on a giant mechanical menorah for the synagogue, which Lou objects to while the rabbi wanted to the machine fixed at the end of the Hanukkah play, not reinvented. Stu tells Lou that he wants Tommy to be proud of his Jewish heritage and wants to prove to Didi that he is very supportive of Hanukkah. Lou warns Stu that they might be overdoing it, but Stu is determined to prove him wrong by turning the menorah on. Flashing lights, music, and tiny horror dancers activate. A lot of energy causes the power surge just as Angelica is about to watch the television. When Minka sees the lights dim and asks what's going on, Didi tells her about the menorah Stu is building for the play, which she wishes is not inappropriate. At first, Stu's menorah seems to be working just fine, but soon goes faster and faster until it explodes. Didi passes by the basement door and tells Stu and Lou it's time to go to the synagogue. Stu tells her to go ahead. He'll meet her there as soon as he can get Lou, as Lou tries to put out the fire in the basement. Meanwhile, Angelica is delighted to hear that A Very Cynthia Christmas will be coming on after Santa versus the Alien. Boris complains about Shlomo, who's being cast as King Antiochus. Boris feels that Shlomo took the part specifically for the scene where Antiochus threatens Judah with a sword. All during the rehearsals, Shlomo would poke Boris in the chest with the fake sword. Didi then walks up to Angelica and cuts the television, telling her it's time to go to the synagogue to watch Boris's play of the meaning of Hanukkah. Angelica refuses to go to the synagogue, as all she wants to watch is a very Cynthia Christmas. The babies overhear Boris complain about the meaning of Hanukkah play and believe Shlomo to be the meaning of Hanukkah. Chucky emphasizes with Boris, as he once had to play with a meaning at daycare, who made him lick a slide, hung him from the monkey bars, put a worm on his head. Tommy asked if Shlomo would do that to Boris, but Chucky explains that an adult meanie will do much more worse things. Tommy asks Chucky what happened to the meanie at daycare, and Chucky says that the teacher dug him out of the sand and made them both take a nap. This gives Tommy an idea. They should put the meanie down for a nap of his own, but Chucky objects to this idea. When the babies and their parents arrive at the synagogue, Angelica asks Dee Dee if there's a television in there. Tommy then asks Phil and Lil if they have what they need for their plan. The twins show that they brought the clown pillow, a blanket, and a flashlight. Tommy vows the meanie is going down. The synagogue is filled with many Hanukkah-related activities, including dreidels available for sale, a photo shoot of Judah kicking King Antiochus, and a latke contest. Angelica tells Cynthia that they might be unable to see a very Cynthia Christmas tonight, but at least they can still have pancakes for dinner. When Angelica tastes the latke, she hates the taste, gripping that pancakes should not be made from potatoes. She tosses her latke on the floor, causing a man dressed like a dreidel to slip on it. She then runs off to look for a television to watch a very Cynthia Christmas on. Backstage, the rabbi explains to the cast and crew that since Fred King is ill, Lowell will be playing the part of the village kvetch. Lowell is outraged, believing that he would be playing the part of King Antiochus. The rabbi tells Lowell he told him he'll be replacing Mr. King. Lowell tells the rabbi that he prepared a monologue with music. The rabbi then realizes that Stu is supposed to come with the menorah, but now he's running late. Boris and Shlomo bicker over this. As it turns out, Stu managed to land himself right in the middle of a Christmas parade, where the giant menorah fits right in. Angelica comes in to an altar, which she mistakes for an entertainment complex. She opens it up, revealing the Torah scrolls. The rabbi enters and asks her if she'd like to know more about the Torah. Angelica tries to ask him if he knows where she can find a television, when she suddenly sees a small television on a janitor's cart. The rabbi tries to teach Angelica about the Torah when Angelica runs after the janitor's cart. Angelica soon runs into the man in the dreidel costume when he exits the men's restroom. He angrily tells her that she broke his shin. Angelica tries to apologize for the incident, but the man takes her to the nursery where she cannot cause any more trouble. At the auditorium, the babies cannot find the meaning of Hanukkah, even though they've looked everywhere. The play begins and Shlomo starts poking Boris with his sword. The babies rush onto the stage and try to stop Shlomo, much to the shock of Dee Dee and Chaz. Angelica tries unsuccessfully to escape from the nursery and get to the janitor's closet where the TV is. Dee Dee drops the crying babies off in the nursery so they don't interrupt the play again. Not understanding what's gotten into him and mailing them off to Esther, the nursery's manager. Esther tells her not to worry and go enjoy the rest of the play. Angelica asks the babies why they're there, and the babies tell her they tried to save Boris from the meaning of Hanukkah by putting the latter down for a nap, but their parents would not let them. This gives Angelica an idea. She explains to the babies that the only thing that succeeds in putting a grown-up down for a nap is television, since Lou always falls asleep in front of one, and she knows where one is. Meanwhile, as Boris and Shlomo continue acting in the play, Boris inadvertently cuts off part of Shlomo's costume with the sword, exposing his boxers. Shlomo and Boris physically start fighting, and the rabbi cuts her play short for an intermission with another verse from the women of the senior choir. Back at the nursery, with Esther distracted with a diaper change, the babies manage to help Angelica escape. As this happens, Boris and Shlomo continue arguing with each other. Shlomo explains to Boris that he's sick of hearing about his children and grandchildren. Boris counters that he'd be proud of his own children and grandchildren if he had any, but he was too busy with special business. A shocked Shlomo admits that he and his late wife Sadie were not blessed with children, and his business was all he had to fall back on. Boris is remorseful for his actions. Before he can apologize, Shlomo gives him the crown for his costume. He says that he does not want to be King Antiochus anymore, since he has no one to share the traditions with anyway. Then he leaves. A guilty Boris hands the crown to Lowell, who happily takes it. After the women of the senior choir finish their song, Lowell rushes on stage and recites some poetry he wrote. Inside the janitor's closet, the janitor falls asleep watching a small television, which Angelica takes from him so she can watch the remaining minutes of A Very Cynthia Christmas. As Tommy tries to take the television so he can stop the meaning of Hanukkah, Angelica takes it from him and tells him that she and Cynthia have some catching up to do. Tommy asks Angelica are supposed to stop the meaning of Hanukkah now, and as Angelica tries to tell Tommy that there is no meaning of Hanukkah, she runs into Shlomo backstage, causing her to drop the television, and it shatters on the floor. The babies follow Angelica and then hide when they see Shlomo. Angelica cries over the broken television, and Shlomo tries to calm her down, but breaks the television even more, causing Angelica to cry even harder. The babies see Shlomo picking up Angelica, trying to calm her down and believe he's being mean to her. Phil tries to scare Shlomo away by using Tommy's pillowcase and pretending to be a ghost, and ends up running into a table leg. Tommy then has an idea. Since Boris always falls asleep after hearing a story, he's going to try to read them the story of Hanukkah to Shlomo. The babies run up to Shlomo and he has no idea what they want. Boris arrives and asks what's happening. Shlomo explains and Boris comforts Angelica. He guesses the babies want Shlomo to read the rest of the story. Shlomo tells Boris that since he's Tommy's grandfather, he should read the story, but Boris insists that Shlomo do it since Tommy is holding the book out to him. Shlomo picks up where Minka left off, where Judah defeated and exiled King Antiochus and won the right for his people to live and learn in the way of their forefathers. But the land of Israel was in ruins after the war. When Judah and his friends came to their menorah, found it broken and its flame put out. Shlomo explains to the babies that a menorah is like the nightlight of Jewish people, shining on the world in times of darkness and reminding them not to be afraid to be different and to be proud of who they are. Boris is impressed and explains to the babies that the menorah is filled with oil to make it burn. Shlomo adds that some people use candles in their menorahs. Boris then continues the story, explaining that although the Israelis repaired their temple, the Greeks only left enough oil to burn in the menorah for one night, but they lit the menorah anyway. Since it would take 8 days to add more oil, the Israelis need a miracle, and they got one, where 8 days passed and the flame was still burning. So every year the Jewish people light a menorah to remember the miracle of Hanukkah. Shlomo falls asleep and Tommy is delighted. His plan worked. As Lowell continues his poetry, Stu arrives at the menorah. The rabbi tells him to go on and not bother about Lowell. Dee Dee is worried, rightfully. So when the menorah explodes, causing the curtains to collapse, the audience sees Boris, Shlomo, and the babies backstage. Minka tells Dee Dee to look, and Boris wakes Shlomo up. Shlomo finishes the play and tells everyone he wishes the children of the Jewish people will continue to carry on this ancient tradition for generations to come. Boris and Shlomo are shaped the blessing over the candles and sing in Hebrew together. Chucky is happy that Boris and the meanie can get along with each other, and Tommy declares this is a miracle of Hanukkah. Boris and Shlomo continue singing